So welcome to one of our initial blabs here about the Bosque Village. Thanks for joining us. This blab will later be put up as a YouTube video as well. Uh, the Bosque Village is a permaculture farm and social experiment in Mexico in the woods. So it's an off-the-grid permaculture farm. Uh, Today here with me is Ella
Hey,
from Finland, all the way from Finland, which is pretty exciting. I think you're the first person who's come from Finland. I'm not
yeah,
sure. You might be the second. I can't remember. I haven't met a lot of people from Finland, so
there's not so many people there.
yeah. And so she's coming here as a participant to learn stuff and help out. Uh, how long ago did you arrive?
I arrived 3 nights ago, I think.
3 nights ago. Okay, so you spent 3 nights.
Yeah,
That's good, and you're not dead yet.
no,
Excellent.
doing good.
Yeah. What have you done so far? What's happened?
Well, I've been helping you with some computer stuff, which have been really interesting for me because I haven't been really doing that for a long time. So I've been learning about videoing stuff, and then today we were doing some more stuff. We finished the solar
Dehydrator. Yeah,
yes.
solar dehydrator. I'm really happy about that.
Yeah.
What she's referring to here is a big solar dehydrator that we can put food in, and it will dry it out, and that way we can preserve it. Because a lot of food that we either grow here or can buy when it's in season uh, is only available during part of the year, or it's really expensive other parts of the year. So if we buy it when it's in season, or we harvest it when it's growing, then we can dry it out and use it all the rest of the year. That's pretty exciting. So
Yeah.
the last piece was just putting on a huge piece of glass. It's a 2 meter by 94 centimeter piece of glass, and that's for the collection of the sun to heat up the air, which then passes by the food, drying it out. Uh, and then we went to town yesterday.
Yeah, that was really nice.
It was a long day. The goal there was to, why don't you tell them about what we did?
So we went to, what did we do? We went to buy some food, and also our goal was um to find some food to eat there, and like get to know the places where they sell the food, like some restaurants and people in the street. What do they sell?
Yeah, and that was in the little town of Aronga, or Aronga Ecuador is the full name, but Aronga is a shorter version,
Easier.
a lot easier. And what did you think of Aronga overall?
It was really nice. I'm not really fan of big cities, so that was like perfect size, like really sweet. There was market day. Yeah, really nice.
Cool. And then we went down to the docks for a bit
Yeah,
and chatted down there.
it's pretty.
I really like Aronga. It is a great size. It's pretty small, but it's big enough to just have the things you really need and not much else.
Yeah.
And going down there, and we documented it. We made a bunch of video clips that we'll edit into a video later. The goal is to kind of develop a deeper kind of tourism. So the way I see it, a lot of tourists travel around and they look at a sculpture or they go to a museum and they don't really interact a lot with locals. So my goal is to have people travel slower, but have more stuff to do in each spot and have contact with like artisans and activities that they can actually get involved with and learn from. So I'm calling this deep tourism, in Spanish, turismo profundo, I think. And I'm going to try and start with Aronga and then work my way out across the entire state of Michoacan. That's the state I'm in the middle of Mexico, and help people be able to host travelers easier. Also, the goal is to help travelers who don't speak Spanish to have places that they know that they can go. If you're just on a Lonely Planet track, with your guidebook, then you'll still go to places, but you meet a lot of other travelers, and you're not actually helping out some of the economies where there isn't a lot of tourism. So I want to go to fairly impoverished places because it's a pretty poor state, and help them understand what tourists want and how to develop their area and say, okay, well, there's a cool waterfall over here. You can learn how to make knives and something over there. You can learn how to harvest salt. I don't know what, but it's going to be really fun. Also, for me, it's just an excuse to travel because I can't just travel. So. Now, you've traveled a lot.
Yeah, yeah. I've been now in Mexico about 4 months, and yeah, I've been traveling a bit around. Also, I was in Guatemala, and before this is actually my second time outside Europe. But in Europe, I have been traveling a lot, but I wanted to get out of Europe, and yeah.
And where did you go on your first time out of Europe?
Sorry,
On your first trip outside of Europe, where did you go?
I was in Brazil with my grandparents.
Ah, very cool. Your grandparents are from Brazil.
No,
Oh,
no,
they moved there.
no. They live in Finland, but they want to travel like once a year or something, and
Oh,
then they always take one of us, like me or my cousins, with them. So
that's very cool.
yeah.
Wow. You've also visited some different communities, or you've been experiencing different communities in your life.
Yeah. When I travel, I really like to visit some like permaculture places or organic farms, because maybe in the future I would like to have one, or also I like the way people are living in these places. So even though I'm not having a place myself, it's really nice that I can still like um, participate in this kind of life somehow. So I've been working in some farms in Spain, mostly in Spain, and then also here in Mexico. I have visited. This is now my third farm, and then in Guatemala I was in one farm.
What were the names of the one in Guatemala and the other two in Mexico?
Uh, in Mexico, Valle Berora, and a really nice place in Yucatan, in middle of a jungle, totally new experience. Yeah, I saw a boa, and yeah. And then in Guatemala, I was in a place I have to think about Gitche Organics, which is really nice project because there's a lot of people farm there. They only farm corn and maybe some other stuff, but not really like vegetables. So they buy all the vegetables, even though they could farm them it themselves. And the second problem is that people they use a lot of chemical fertilizers. So the land is actually really bad. And this guy who is living there, he's trying to make the community to farm organic and to start farming their own vegetables.
That makes sense. Now, why aren't they farming their own vegetables?
Um, it's just somehow not common. Like some people do it a bit. I mean, there is something, but still, it's like it's mostly just corn. And also, you can see the change of rural areas that people are not maybe proud of being there, and it's just like really poor.
Yeah.
And
Well,
yeah.
sometimes in a lot of places, it doesn't actually economically make sense to farm, which is too bad. But like even around here, people go to the States to work, and then they just buy food that's grown in a larger scale production.
Yeah.
So I wonder about that. I mean, in some sense, the goal of growing all your own vegetables is kind of a dream of people who are from the first world, because for a lot of people, it just doesn't pencil out. And I still want to do it. The way I'm farming, of course, is a little different. Um, I mean, we toured the gardens a little bit, but you'll learn more while you're here about how I do that. The biggest thing about how I do things here is I don't irrigate, which is a huge, huge thing. I mean, everything's irrigated, you know. Um, I do baby the babies and I water them when they're young, but then when the plant is big enough, I need to go out in the forest and live on its own. And if it can't, then maybe I shouldn't be growing it. So,
Yeah.
because I'm just on rainwater here. You so you're in Guatemala at one place, Yucatan the other, and then what's the third one you're up in Mexico?
No, actually, I don't remember.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, no
Yeah.
matter.
Yeah.
And what are your first impressions here?
Um, it's really well. First, when I came here, I noticed the air. Like it's so fresh. I came from a big city, and also the what I like in Mexico. There's a lot of different kind of nature. So before this, I was more in like a tropical area, and here it's like pines and yeah, it's really
It's very
nice.
different. Yeah, when
Yeah.
people think of Mexico, they don't think of this kind of place.
Yeah, no, it's actually
Yeah.
this reminds me a lot about Spain.
Spain, really
Yeah, yeah,
awesome.
and
I've never been to
it's
Spain,
nice.
but it sounds nice.
Yeah, in the mountains.
Yeah, very cool.
And also, I really like the way you have your garden, that there's like things growing everywhere, and like this kind of forest
It's
garden.
kind of nice. It is slow process to learn how to do it, but yeah, like we walk around right now, and we find just salad greens in some spot where we had burned some branches. So I probably have 20, 25 little spots where there's just salad greens growing there. I tend not to harvest very much, but we should make some salad, I guess, at some point.
I've
But
been harvesting it a bit.
yeah, okay, good. I'm glad. And then what will happen is a lot of those will go to seed, and then they'll come back on their own, and that's really the goal. Is that as many plants as possible should be growing without any work from humans at all. Um, and of course having more perennials rather than annuals. But um, I'm happy to see after years and years of work that there are some successes, and you can now walk around and just eat some food. I mean, we could just walk around now. You could have a, it's be funny. You could have a little thing of salad dressing and just grab a leaf of salad and dip it in and eat it. That'd be funny.
Yeah.
You might have to do that, like grazing, kind of. And part of the idea here is to get back into almost a hunter-gatherer type lifestyle. In a sense, that's a bit of a lofty goal, but one where nature, enhanced slightly by the humans, is providing lots of food. Um, we still go to the market and buy food because the state of Michoacan has so many just great fruits and vegetables available, some of which are kind of exotic and unusual, and they're actually very cheap by comparison to a place that has hard winters or something. So we can eat locally really cheaply, which does reduce my motivation a little bit to grow food, but still, I got to grow my own food. It's just a good idea.
Yeah.
Also, if I can show people around here that there's profitable ways to grow things with less work, then hopefully they'll steal my ideas and they'll do it themselves, which increases food security in the area. Because right now, if this area, if the price of gasoline goes up, or if there was some kind of natural disaster, there's not enough food, and so they're not really prepared. And that's the term used is food security. And so what we want to do is have better food security for the area.
Yeah, and also, I guess even though the food is cheap, it's a question how it's produced,
Right.
like how much chemicals that has been used, and how is the land like after it. So it might be more ecological to grow your own, even though it would take more your energy.
Yeah, more energy. And those are the kind of things we're playing with here. Looking at trade-offs between different systems and why we do each individual thing one way or another way. Every plant I see is kind of like a puzzle, like I want to solve it. And I solve some of them, like daikon radish is a solved thing. I've got daikon radish all over the place. And I just started eating it. Believe it or not, I just ate my first daikon radish a couple weeks ago. And I've been growing it for 3 years.
Well, it's all over now.
Yeah, now it's all over. When we first got it, of course, there was hardly any. And we still have gardens where something's growing and you're not allowed to harvest it because we don't have a surplus. So you'll need to remember that when you go around looking for food. But right now we have squash grows easy. I have a surplus of squash. That's easy. Chile coyote, I have as much as I want, which is a weird squash-like thing.
But how much do you put new seeds?
What do you mean?
Like how much you plant? Your goal is to let the plants seed themselves, no?
Well, ideally, in many cases.
Yeah. Okay.
It depends on the plant.
Yeah.
So if you look at something like tomatoes, for example, are a good example, because everybody likes tomatoes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So with the tomatoes, first of all, what I want to do is every time we buy tomatoes, we want to save the seeds and ferment those. And tomatoes are a special case where you have to put the seeds in a dish for a while with some water and let it kind of rot for 3 days. They'll start to smell bad, and then you can go ahead and plant those, or you can dry them and then plant them. What I'd like to be doing is planting tomatoes all over the place all year long, and then my hope is that they'll grow back on their own, and some of them have. But we'll still keep collecting seeds and just basically
Yeah.
spewing
Yeah.
seeds all year long. And where when I got into the tomato solution was because I had some old tiles behind a building.
Hmm.
It's a broken pile of tiles, and a tomato came out of it. And I was like, wait a minute, okay, so because everybody here says you have to have a greenhouse to grow tomatoes,
Oh, yeah.
because when you have water, uh, then the tomatoes will rot on the vine, so you have to protect them from the rain.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to have a greenhouse, at least not a plastic one. And so I was very encouraged by that one tomato that came up, and I was like, okay, so this tomato did it on its own. I think if I help out, we can have tomatoes all over the place. So right now I have some tomatoes around. Mostly I've let them rot. Um, and then there's, each other plant we've looked at is its own puzzle.
Yeah.
In some cases we fail at first. We fail at growing a plant, and usually by the third time we try something, it works out. Um, we still have to go collect some nopals with you,
Yeah. Yeah.
because that's a whole nother food that you can eat every day. How do you usually eat?
I I like, well, I prefer like vegan food. I think it makes me feel good, and also like it makes me feel mentally good because I'm not harming anyone.
Yeah.
um, but also when I'm traveling, I think about food that um, it's not good, or at least for me, it's not good to be too strict. I don't want things start to feel like as restrictions.
Right.
So especially when I'm traveling and you go to new places, there's food you have never tasted. It's sometimes nice to taste, and yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm not too strict.
So, but you generally want to be vegan as much as you can,
Yeah,
but you're not a total Puritan about it.
yeah.
That's probably wise. What's been your experience eating in Mexico so far?
Um, I like Mexican food in some point, or to some point. I really like tortillas because I don't really eat wheat. So it's nice here. It's really easy not to eat wheat. In Europe, it's so
Oh,
difficult because everything has like spaghetti or um, or bread. But here it's only tortillas, or mostly
the corn tortillas.
corn tortillas.
And
Yeah,
you made
yeah,
those before.
yeah, yeah.
Well,
It's really easy also to make.
that's great. Well, we'll be doing that pretty soon, and we'll take a video of it.
Yeah,
One of the computer work stuff we did was making a list of all the foods that we eat here, all the ingredients of every single food. My goal is to have actual really high level of consciousness about each ingredient, why we eat it, what the effect is ethically on the planet and other people, and also on our own health, and also energy efficiency, the whole system. So it's a tricky puzzle, but it's probably the most important one we can do. Plus, we get to eat the food, so that's fun.
yeah,
Um, we're gonna sit down probably and look at a list of all the different Mexican foods, and we're gonna choose some to learn how to make, and yeah, and we'll
yeah.
start exploring that, I think.
There's a lot of really nice and like healthy vegetarian Mexican food. Like people use a lot of beans here. So yeah, you can find really easily like vegetarian Mexican food. But then also in the streets when you are, it might be a little bit tricky because people use a lot of fat here, or deep fried things and meat. So
Yeah, it seems like Mexican food's kind of gotten off track. Everything seems to be tortillas, meat, and Coca-Cola and
yeah,
Pepsi.
yeah,
And so this is why Mexico is
no
now,
vegetables.
now one of the most obese. It is the most obese country in the world, I believe. I think they surpassed the
Yeah,
United States. So essentially, it's a fat continent. But I'm hoping to explore how we can get back to, Mexican food that actually is healthy. Less
yeah,
oil, um, more the nopales and the old things. I
yeah.
mean, we could even explore. Let's look at pre-colonial Mexican food.
Yeah, that's actually really healthy because there's like the climate here is so perfect. So you can pretty much grow everything in Mexico in different parts. So there's like a lot of different vegetables and fruits. You have everything
Yeah,
like
yeah.
for
This is
healthy.
really is a wonderful place for food, and I didn't know that before I moved here. I came down in 2004 and really didn't even know anything about Mexican culture or anything. Of course, I've learned a little bit since then. So, uh, well, cool. I'm going to pause recording for a sec. So while you're here, I usually adjust people's activities according to what they're interested in. First, let me ask you, how did you find the Bosque Village?
Well, I've been searching for like permaculture places, organic farms in Mexico, and then you came up.
Okay. Um, and I know you're into like martial arts or something.
Yeah, yeah. Martial arts. Mostly I've been doing Thai boxing and then Krav Maga, which is like this Israeli self-defense uh, thing, and Sistema, which is like a Russian self-defense, Russian martial art,
Mhm.
and a little bit Kung Fu, and that I would like to do more.
Cool. Well, we'll probably make a video of that. And also, I mean, that's a good form of exercise. We've done a little bit of bow staff here. We
Mhm.
made a video about that. I have archery, which is archery a martial art.
It goes like comes from arts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And we started trying to make our own bows and arrows. The arrows, well, we need to focus more on it. So far, we have not made good arrows or bows, but that would be a fun task for us.
yeah,
And we can also teach maybe some locals some of the things you know about self-defense.
yeah, yeah. That
Because
would be really cool.
I think it's good if people have the power to defend themselves. I don't know if I do. I'm a relatively tall white male, so nobody generally fucks with me. Although I don't know what white has to do with it. Um,
Yeah.
but still, it would be nice to know things.
Yeah,
So,
it really increases your confidence
hmm?
and yeah, self-confidence, and I think that's why it's really good. I've been teaching self-defense for women, and in that I've seen that it's also a physical thing, of course, but and you actually learn how to defend yourself physically. But what I feel is most important is the mental part, and that maybe you feel empowered, or you just feel that actually, hey, I can defend myself and I have the right to it. And that is really important.
So if I invite some people over, you could actually do a class.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow, that's good. Now, can you do that in Spanish?
I can, yeah, I can try.
Okay.
I have been doing a little bit something like that here while I've
Right,
been in
because
Mexico. But
part of the idea behind like having participants here is that they come in and they bring in their own skill set and then they pass that on to local people. So that'd be really great. With it being in Spanish, I guess what you could do is think of all the words you use in English
yeah,
or Finnish, and then make a spreadsheet and put in the Spanish words. So you're actually learning Spanish, and you're learning Spanish. It helps you teach something you know.
yeah,
That would be really fun and
yeah,
cool. And of course, that'd be another video. So yeah, what I'm doing with invites is I look at people's applications, and there's really a huge variety of different skills I'm looking for.
Mhm.
It can be almost anything. Because the place is really about making a cultural laboratory, a sustainability laboratory, there really isn't any part of culture that we don't want to consider and possibly change. Um, whether it's
yeah,
exercise or entertainment or food is obviously really important. You also play ukulele?
yeah, yeah.
A
Not so long. I've been playing like year or
year.
something like that. But I started because I was traveling a lot, and
Mhm.
then before I've been like playing in bands, like a little bit singing, a little bit bass, and I was just missing music or playing in my life. And
Yeah,
ukulele is like really small, so it's easy to travel with.
that is really cool. I have noticed a few travelers carry ukuleles. It's funny.
Yeah,
So it's a funny little instrument.
and
Yeah,
it's easy to learn.
yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm. I don't play any music at all, but I do want music around. I know it's powerful. So
yeah,
yeah. So we'll be continuing with our food experiments. I'm really excited to do that. I want to every day be doing something interesting with food.
hmm
We're going to be taste testing some stuff that we canned a long time ago to find out what it even is. I have a couple experiments in progress. We've got some kimchi. I did some experiments with that, so we'll try that out. Um, I used to brew a lot of beer, and I don't think I'm going to get into that again because I don't have a good source of barley.
Hmm.
But what we do have here is bees.
Yeah.
There's lots of beekeeping around here, and we've got a couple of hives here in the Bosque. So with that, we can make mead. Mead is fermented honey, and it's like the oldest drink in the world, really, because
That's interesting. I
it's
didn't know
easy to
about that.
invent. Totally easy to invent. All you have to do is be like a caveman guy or woman, and you collect honey because honey's good, right? And you get stung a little bit, and then you have it there, and maybe it sits out in the rain a little bit, and then it starts to get foamy.
Hmm.
And then if you're a crazy person named Oog, then you go and you say, "Oh, it's probably okay. I'll drink it." You say, "Oh, Oog, feel funny," and you've just invented mead, really crappy mead. What I do is I ferment it and then bottle it and wait for 2 years for it to age.
Okay.
So you have to be patient.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
make an okay beer in 3 weeks, a good beer in 6 weeks, but with mead, you really need to let it age
Yeah.
because the stuff I made ended up like a dry champagne.
Can you buy this from the stores?
You can, and
Okay.
meaderies are coming back into fashion. Mead used to be more popular than beer.
Oh,
The monasteries in Europe used to make it a lot,
okay.
but the economics of things changed,
Yeah.
and honey became more expensive to
Yeah.
do. So, but meaderies in the last 20 years have become more common. Unfortunately, a lot of them produce a really syrupy, sweet mead that is
Hmm.
disgusting.
Yeah.
And so if you try that, then you'll say, "Oh, I don't like mead."
Yeah.
But if you brew it the way I brew it, you'll say, "Whoa, that's good stuff."
Yeah.
Because I want little bubbles in it. I want it to be,
Yeah.
clean and crisp, and I want some sweetness.
Yeah.
I mean, you can still make styles of meads. I made a blackberry mead. That was really good.
Sounds good.
I made a ginger mead. That was good. A little weird, but um, so yeah, I should get back into that. Now that's a
Yeah.
little advanced. I don't know if you'll be here long enough for us to do that, but
2 years.
well, no, that's yeah. I mean, even just to start the process, I don't know if we'll get around to it. But we'll sit down and we'll make a list of everything to do with food. I want to know everything. Like that
Yeah.
ingredient list we made, I want to figure out every detail of every single thing. I mean, like they say turmeric is really good for you. Well, is that proven? Is it
Yeah.
true? Where's my best source of turmeric? How
That's
is it
so
produced?
yeah. That's so hard nowadays because there's so much information, and in the media you can see like every day something new, like eat this. Oh no, next day it's like don't eat
Yeah.
this. So what to believe? And well, personally, I think that you just need to listen to your own body because our bodies are different, and like it's like different things are good for us. But what it's still interesting to know, like what do we actually, because we don't know like what do we actually eat, and especially where, for me, it's really interesting where it comes from and how. And
Yeah, that matters to me. I mean, things like coffee and chocolate sometimes are produced by slave labor,
yeah,
and I don't like that. I don't want to be involved with it.
yeah,
So I see the most powerful thing I can do to make a better world is to figure out what I'm eating and why.
yeah,
And in my case, it's easier because I'm so removed from society. I mean, we're out here in the middle of the woods, so we're not walking down the street tempted by something every 10 minutes.
that's hard.
We can actually take control here, which is
Yeah.
fun.
And also it's just we need to eat every day, so it's such a big part in our lives. So it's kind of crazy that we are so separated from it, or from the production. So that's also why I guess that's why I have this some kind of need of maybe farming my own food, or at least knowing where it comes from,
Yeah,
because because it's just such a big part of my
yeah,
life.
yeah. And have you farmed much before? You said you worked at a farm.
Yeah, and well, my grandparents had a farm, so I've been like growing up there, and then my mother and aunt, they got like this kind of, I think it's called allotment garden in English. I don't know.
What was it called? A what?
It's in Finland and other countries too. They have these like small gardens in the cities,
Mhm.
which you can rent, like pay
Oh,
something for a year, or
mhm.
sometimes they are even free, and then you can farm like
Yeah,
your stuff there,
yeah. In Seattle,
like
they have
city garden.
what's called a pea patch
Okay,
in Seattle. I don't know if that term is used elsewhere.
yeah, and so they got one when I was like a teenager,
Mhm.
and then I started helping them, and then later I got more into it. Like I got interested about food, where it comes from, So I started to do my own experiences there, and now a few years it's been more like my kingdom, and my aunt and mom are still helping a
Sweet.
bit.
That's fantastic. And have you done much fermentation of food?
Yeah, a little bit. I really like sour kale,
Oh yeah.
and that's in Finland also like popular, and kale grows good in the summer. So
Well,
that's
and
I
kimchi
like.
is basically sauerkraut.
Yeah, yeah,
It's more interesting because
yeah,
when I think sauerkraut, I just think cabbage.
yeah.
Is that not true?
I You can also put other things, but it's mostly cabbage, I
No.
guess.
So,
But also you can put really good spices and stuff. So
okay.
it's
Well,
interesting.
yeah, we should definitely, well, we should eat more kimchi. Like every
Yeah,
day, we should eat as much kimchi as we can.
yeah.
Because I
I've been
made,
eating quite.
okay, good. Because I made a lot. And I also want to do a taste test. What I found out so far in the experiment is that 1 tablespoon of salt per kilogram of vegetables is not enough, and 2 is. And we
Mm,
had been adding way more than that, so it was really salty.
yeah,
And what I want to do is add just enough salt so it preserves it
yeah,
and keeps the vegetables crisp, but not extra.
yeah,
So, you tried some of the kimchi, right?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so what did you think?
I think it's really good. It's quite salty, so that's
Okay,
why it's like I feel like I cannot eat it like so much as I would maybe like to, because I'm not like I don't like so much like super salty food. But
right.
it's really tasty.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that it's all red because I used red cabbage.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'm actually
It's
going to do that
nice.
again. Well, it's neat,
Yeah.
but I want to see the colors of each thing a little bit. I want
Yeah.
to see the
Yeah.
color of the carrot. I want to see this.
Yeah.
So I don't think I would want to add beets or red cabbage
Yeah.
next time. I mean, but it's all style, right?
Yeah.
In Korea, they have all kinds of kimchi.
Yeah.
Summer
It's
kimchi,
really,
winter
really nice.
kimchi, this kind of kimchi. So we can just do whatever we want.
Yeah. I really like actually this one Korean, like this type of Korean kimchi, which is really spicy, and the things are really small, like cut
Hmm.
really maybe like long, but small,
Okay.
thin slices. That's really good.
Really? Okay. Well, I do have a tool called a mandolin that
Uh,
allows us to cut small, thin slices, and we used it last time we made kimchi, but I wasn't sure. I'm not sure what the efficiency of it is,
mm,
and in general, any tool that I have, I'm suspicious that I shouldn't have it.
yeah,
I want to have as few tools as possible. So if I can just do everything with a knife, that'd be great.
yeah,
But we might, if we make kimchi, then we'll try this tool out, this mandolin they call it, because it really does a good job at making like long, thin, pretty things.
yeah.
So you can make like potato chip things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and Alicia is showing up tomorrow. She is the person who tried to use that last
Okay.
time,
Yeah.
and she liked it. But I don't know. I want it to make sense in terms of time.
Yeah.
And I do try and avoid almost any electrical device. I mean,
Yeah.
electrical food device has to be really, really useful for me to care because I don't have any old ones.
Yeah.
They all die, and I wonder about any technology that you don't see an old one of it. It means it's probably bad technology.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, knives work great. I mean, you could have a knife for 20 years if it's a good knife,
Yeah.
I hope.
Yeah. I have the once eaten this bought this whole kale, which was
Mhm.
like fermented or like sour kale, but it was like uh
They
whole
had
kale.
they had the entire whole thing,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
they just ferment it as it
yeah,
is.
yeah. And then I was
Wow,
just cutting pieces from it or taking a leaf by leaf. It was really
well,
nice.
that's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll probably be making pickles, by the way.
Oh yeah.
I forgot to buy them at the market yesterday, but some cucumbers are made for pickling. They're not really as good for salads and things.
Yeah.
And so I would like to have pickles. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
that would be good.
Pickles is nice. I'm really into actually preserving food because in Finland, well, you can only farm in the summer. So
Right.
half of the year you have to actually eat like some old stuff. But you can make like really good canned stuff. And also it's nice because it lasts forever. So if there's like a zombie zombies, then it's like, you will
Well,
have
yeah,
food.
and that's the thing is I've noticed here in Mexico that there is not a culture of fermenting foods very much.
Yeah.
There's tepache, which is a fermented drink made from pineapple rinds.
Oh.
But there isn't a huge fermentation culture, and it's because they don't
There's
have the
fresh
harsh winter.
food.
Right,
Yeah.
you can eat all year long.
Yeah.
But if you live in Northern Europe, if you don't figure out a way to preserve your food, you die.
Yeah.
So that's why they figured it out.
Exactly.
But I still want to bring it here to these cultures as well, because a lot of fermented foods are very healthy for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have the book Wild Fermentation by Sandor Katz, so we should take a look at that.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
And then he wrote a new book that I want to get as well. And he's got some weird fermentation things in those. Like he's got gundrue, which is fermented radish greens.
Mm.
Well, what have I got? I've got lots of daikon radish.
Yeah.
And so I could do the same thing with those.
Yeah.
Also, I mean, if radish greens are edible, we should be eating those too. Why not?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of food experiments to do, and people like food. It's popular. They like food and they like sex. Those are the two things people really like. And I'm not going to make videos about sex, so we're going to do food. Lots of food. Now, surprisingly, you don't like bread.
Yeah. I actually, well, it's just makes my stomach not good.
Okay. Well, have you ever made cornbread?
Yeah. Yeah.
I love cornbread.
Yeah. I have been making, because there's so many other good things than wheat to use, which is kind of like, well, that's also a topic to discuss about how wheat has just it's everywhere in the world grown, even though it's not necessarily the healthiest or even the easiest thing to grow. But yeah, there's so many other things you can use which are really healthy and really good, taste really good, like oats, rye. Yeah.
Yeah, I need to find a source of rye actually. Now, you noticed when we were on the swings the other day, do you see that wheat that was right next to that?
Yeah.
I just have some, I mean, I'll plant anything and try anything. So we just have some wheat growing there. Now, the problem is that there's economies of scale. And so am I going to grow and harvest my own wheat? Maybe. I mean, the fact that it worked with no irrigation is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And we're pretty deep into the dry season right now. So maybe I should go ahead, and it doesn't cost a lot, and plant, a larger garden of wheat.
Yeah.
And then actually measure, how much wheat did I get out of how much area? And how does that compare with how much flour I would need to make what amount of bread?
Yeah.
And what amount of bread is the right amount to eat? I tend to think it's good to eat for me, one big slice of bread a day is just fine. And then if you have tortillas a couple times a week, you're covered.
I think with many grains, there's the problem that it's actually, you need to produce them quite a lot to get something out of it. So if you don't have a lot of space, it doesn't really make a lot of sense to grow them, because there's also so many other things which take less space but are as good as food, have same nutrients or even more. Now
you want to go mostly vegan, but do you eat chicken eggs?
I've been eating when I'm visiting some places where there's chickens, because it makes it makes then more sense than going to the store and buying tofu.
Right. Well, I have chickens here, and my flock is fairly new. I kind of restarted it because my chickens got old, so I got a bunch of new chickens. Well, baby chickens. And so they've just started laying. So any of the brown eggs you see here are from my chickens. So you can eat those if you want. And then I have raised rabbits before. I'm not doing it right now. But if I had rabbits, would you eat rabbit or no?
Maybe I wouldn't feel that I have the need for that.
Okay.
But somehow, I don't know why, because in a way I feel bad if I have to kill someone. But also I have this kind of interest about learning how to hunt, just.
Well, I just had a friend come down and visit, and she was interested in the same thing because she wanted to understand and be in contact with her food. Where does the food come from? What's the deal? And so she is a meat eater, and she decided that she wanted to kill a rooster that I had because I needed to kill it. And so she went ahead and did it. And it was pretty meaningful for her.
Yeah. I think that's really respectful, because I think nowadays you don't have to take the responsibility
Right.
of the animals. Like you can just buy them, and you don't have any idea how they're being killed or
Yeah.
yeah. So I think that's really cool. Like if you can do it yourself.
Yeah, I was happy to offer her the experience, and we made a video on it. So yeah, and a lot of this experiment is not about saying this is the right way to do things.
Mm.
There's only one way, but playing with ideas in every area and saying, well, what if we do it this way or this way? Let's look at all the external costs, because certainly with meat, that's a thing that has all these externalities. They call them externalities. There's all these costs with the subsidized meat industry. Corn is subsidized, and that's being fed to the beef.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not even paying the real cost of meat.
Yeah.
And certainly something like the ocean, we're just fishing it out. We're destroying the entire ocean. The oceans used to be filled with fish, and now they're not. And it's kind of sad, really.
Yeah, yeah, it is. And there's so much food in the world, but still there's so many people in hunger, and that's just really sad because most of the vegetables, most of the soy we produce, it actually goes to the animals.
Right, which is inefficient use of the calories, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that you said a couple days ago something about being okay with some hunting or fishing, because if you look at an animal that was free, and then you have to go do work to kill it and eat it, that's healthier for you. It's healthier for the animal. It's healthier for the whole environment. And so, really, if we just restricted ourselves to harvesting wild animals or raising them, hopefully in a way that approximates it, then it would really be a better world. We'd probably eat a lot less meat.
Yeah. I in some point I agree with this, but then also I think in some kind of utopia, I think if we wouldn't, because always when you have to kill someone, because for me animals are like they feel the same pain as we do.
Yeah, they do.
So so if we can avoid like killing them, I think also we would feel we would be more healthier in our minds.
Yeah, and it's
true. Our society would be more non-violent.
I think you might be right, and it's an interesting thing. I've said to people when discussing meat, like we did evolve eating meat. Like we actually grew bigger brains when we started killing animals and eating them, and also with fire cooking it. However, just because we did some before doesn't mean we have to do it now. We can design a new culture that we think works better for us.
Yeah, because this culture we're having now is not really that smart. So
it's a total mess.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's something to consider, is that to design the culture so we don't eat any meat, and then if some meat eating happens, big deal. Like today, I ate one of those grasshoppers that I dried years ago, because there was a plague of grasshoppers that was eating all the gardens. And so that's when I learned, okay, well, this is free food and it's eating my other food. So let's collect it and dry it. And I did that, I think it was 4 or 5 years ago. And they're still just fine. I ate some today. Did you eat one?
No, I didn't taste. I have been tasting before sometime. Yeah,
and I think they look weird. So my biggest problem with eating grasshoppers is they look like little aliens. Some people call them land shrimp because they have this kind of alien weird look, and they have a taste that's like shrimp. But what I was thinking was that we could actually grind them up and make a kind of powder out of them, a protein powder. And then you could just add that to soups or whatever, and it lasts forever. So also, when you have these plagues, which happen, I think about every 10 years of these grasshoppers that eat everything, you collect as many as you can, dry them, and then grind them up so they don't take as much space, and then save those for a year when maybe there's a drought or something.
Yeah.
So that would be an interesting way to go as well. It's complex.
It's and it's so many things to think about, and interesting.
Well, excellent. It's been fun to talk to you a little bit about your initial days here, and I hope you stick around longer. We're gonna do a lot more cool stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and thank you for watching. That's confusing. And if you're watching this video online, well, thank you for joining us. We're going to keep thinking, and you're part of the process as well. So feel free to comment on anything you've heard. Nos vemos.